look forward to the day when we will be rewarded for the deeds that we've done in this body. Some may not be so excited about that, but I am excited about the time when I will be able to stand in your presence and receive the reward for the deeds that are done in this body. Father, will you prepare our hearts to hear your voice as we continue on in this great book? Help us to learn the lessons from those that have gone before us. Now may the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. It is in Jesus' name. Amen. If you'll stand with me, turn to the book of Judges, chapter 3. Judges, chapter 3, we'll be reading verses 9 through 14. Judges, chapter 3, verses 9 through 14. And it reads, when the sons of Israel cried out to the Lord raised up a deliverer for the sons of Israel to deliver them. Othniel, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother. The Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he judged Israel. When he went out to war, the Lord gave Cush-Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia, into his hand, so that he prevailed over Cush-Rishathaim. Then the land had 40 years of rest, and Othniel, the son of Kenneth, died. Now the sons of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Lord. So the Lord strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of the Lord. And he gathered to himself the sons of Ammon and Amalek, and he went and defeated Israel, and they possessed the city of palm trees. The sons of Israel served Eglon, the king of Moab, 18 years. You may be seated. How did we get here? As we look at our history, it's said that if we are not students of history, then we are bound to repeat the mistakes of those that have gone before us. So as we look through the book of Judges, it's important for us to understand the history of Israel and their judges so that we might learn the lessons that was taught by God to the children of Israel so that we won't repeat those mistakes that they made. Verse 9 actually is a continuation. On last week, we addressed verses 1 through 8. The context lets us know that God's people had turned away from God. Verse 4, and God was testing them. In verse 2, it says that he was testing them to see which ones were about war, which ones were, that he says in verse 2, in order that, he says he tests Israel in verse 1, by them, that is, all who had experienced any of the wars in Canaan, only in order that the generations of the sons of Israel might be taught war, those who had not experienced it formerly. That was the first reason. The second reason is found for God's testing in verse 4. It says, when they were for the testing Israel to find out if they would obey the commandments of the Lord. And of course, the children of Israel had failed the test, as they had done so many times. Verse 5 lets us know that the sons of Israel lived among the Canaanites, the Hivites, the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, the Jebusites, and they took their daughters from themselves, and wives, and gave their own daughters to their sons, and served their gods, which was a direct disobedience, looking at Deuteronomy chapter 7, where God told them specifically, don't do that. Don't go into the promised land. Don't marry their daughters. And they did exactly what God told them not to do. So in 7, he says they did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, and forgot the Lord their God, and served the Baals. We talked a little bit about this last week, the tendency for us to forget. The phrase, how soon we forget, rings loudly in our ears, because it's very easy when things are going well to forget the covenant that you made with God. I spoke with a young person on the other day, and they made this covenant with God, and now things are getting a little bit more difficult. Now they are reneging on the commitment that they made to the covenant in their marriage. They forgot the Lord and began to serve the Baals and Ashereth. And then as a result of that, we see that God disciplines his people. Amen. Verse 8 says, then the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, so that he sold them into the hands of Cushan-Rishathaim, the king of Mesopotamia, and the sons of Israel served Cushan-Rishathaim 8 years. So that's the context. So Israel is in bondage. They're serving as slaves because they disobeyed God, and they've been serving for 8 years. Now I want you to think about this as we go into this morning's subject, Israel's first judge. Our first point is found in verse 9a. God responds to the cries of his children. God responds to the cries of his children. That's good news for those who may be experiencing God's discipline. God responds to the cries of his children. Verse 9, it says, when the sons of Israel cried to the Lord raised up a deliverer for the sons of Israel to deliver them. That's wonderful news. Now they've been in bondage because of their own disobedience, and it says, I like this and I don't want you to miss it, it says, when the sons of Israel cried to the Lord. Don't miss this. The text almost seems to imply that they were in bondage for 8 years because of their own rebellion, and then it says, when. So it's almost as if they were in bondage for 8 years and they didn't cry out to God. But when they cried out to God, the text is silent about whether they're repentant or not, but it only lets us know that when they cried out to God. Listen, you might be in a place right now, and it's just a matter of you crying out to God. And certainly, you need to confess your sin, because the Bible says if we confess our sin, he is faithful and just to forgive us of our sins and cleanse us from all unrighteousness. God is faithful to do his part. But the problem is some of us are so rebellious that we don't even want to cry out to God. We think that God is treating us unjustly because we disobeyed him. And that's the problem with following this culture, because this culture, in fact, the culture of the judges, the main point in the book of Judges is in the last 21 chapters, chapter 21, last verse, and it says, and there was no king in Israel. And everyone did what was right in their own minds. Don't forget that that's the entire context. What's happening in Judges is people are just doing whatever they want to do, and when God judges them, it's almost as if they are disappointed with God for judging them for their disobedience. Listen, the New Testament believer, you need to understand that you are bought with a price. You are not your own. Now, I know what y'all thinking. Y'all thinking, man, this cycle is going over and over and over again. You're going to be preaching this for a whole year. And I'm saying, I was thinking about that this morning. It seems like the same sermon I'm preaching over and over because Israel is going through these cycles over and over and over. But let me ask you a question. Are you still doing some of the same stuff that you did last week? Could it be that we have become just like the children of Israel and we forget the Lord our God when things get going and things start happening in our lives? We begin to drift, prone to wonder, Lord, I feel it, prone to leave the Lord I love. That is all of our heart's cries, if we're honest. But the good news is, in point number one, God responds to the cries of his children. Listen, don't justify your sin. Don't try to talk about how you need to try to get yourself together. Just cry out to God. Just say, I'm sorry. Sometimes it's hard to say I'm sorry, amen? Even when you know you're wrong sometimes. You know, I might say something to my wife and I'm wrong and just stop beating around the bush. Just cut to the chase, apologize, and move on. It doesn't say that the children of Israel became remorseful. The text doesn't say that they put on ashes and sackcloth. It doesn't say anything like that. But after they get to a point and they're in bondage for 8 years, and finally, I'll insert finally, they cry out to the Lord after 8 years. Some might be saying, how long? And the answer is simply until you cry out. Some of us are just rebellious. You know, I remember when I was younger, and I'd do something that deserved a whooping, and that's what my dad did. He tore my butt up. But as I got a little older, I got a little bit more rebellious. You know, I'm saying in my mind, you know, when he hit me this time, I ain't gonna cry. Y'all remember that? I ain't gonna cry. I'm not gonna let him know that it hurt. The only problem was, he was gonna whoop me until I cried. So you learn and you start crying before the whooping starts. And then he'll say something like this. You need to shut your mouth or I'm going to give you something. Can't cry, can't not cry. God responds to the cries of his children. Secondly, we see in 9b, God sent a redeemer. That's good news. Now make a note that these people are in bondage because of their own sin, because of their own rebellion. They cried out to God, and obviously God heard them because it says the Lord raised up a deliverer for the sons of Israel to deliver them. He raised up someone. God's people are in rebellion. They're crying out to him. God says, Othniel. He says, listen, you got a job to do. So God raised up a deliverer. The judge is not like the New Testament pastor. It's important for us to know this because people look at the book of Judges and there are men judges and there are women judges, and they say, well, that's just like the New Testament pastor. So many people look at the judges as justification for the New Testament for women preaching and pastoring. But the judge is more like our mayors. The judge is one that hands out verdicts. He decides on controversies. He vindicates the righteous. He judges the wicked. And that is the responsibility of the judge. So God raised up Othniel, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother. He raises him up to be the judge. Because again, remember, when the people of Israel rebel, they're basically saying, we don't want you, God, as our judge. We want to be our own judge, and we want to do things our own way. And that's quite dangerous. He says he sends a deliverer. And so, first of all, we see in 2a, God equipped the judge. Look at what happens. He says, the Lord raised up a deliverer for the sons of Israel to deliver them, Othniel, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's brother. Verse 10, the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he judged Israel. And so we see for the first time that the judge is, that the Spirit of the Lord came upon that judge. In other words, God appointed this judge to be a judge for his